We're back with Money9's weekly special Companynama, where we take you through the week's major updates from the corporate and startup world, at the same time touching upon the major controversies around corporates. I'm Shrestha Tiwari. Let's get started off with corporates first. Suzlon Energy Limited's Chief Financial Officer Himanshu Modi on October 11th has said that the company would be able to pare its debt by 583.5 crore rupees if its rights issue worth 1,200 crore rupees that has been launched on October 11, 2022 gets fully subscribed. The closing date for the rights issue is set on October 28, 2022. Shares of Suzlon Energy Limited were trading more than 6% lower at 7 rupees a piece on the BSE in the October 11th afternoon trading session. Adani Data Networks has been given a unified license for access services, which enables it to provide all telecom services in the country. Adani Group entered the telecom sector after buying spectrum in a recent auction, while the permit was granted on October 10th. In other news, Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone Limited, India's largest ports and logistics company and part of Adani Group, has received approvals from the courts in Ahmedabad and Hyderabad for acquiring the remaining 58.1% stake in the Gangavaram Port Limited through a composite scheme of arrangement. Staying with Adani's, its green energy company Adani Green Energy on October 10th has said that it has acquired 3 entities from Inox Green Energy Service Limited, each holding 50 megawatts operational wind power projects at Dayapur in Gujarat. Meanwhile, Gautam Adani on October 7th had announced a 65,000 crore rupees investment in Rajasthan over the next 5 to 7 years, dedicating it towards setting up a mega 10,000 megawatt solar power capacity, expanding cement plant and also upgrading the Jaipur airport. JSW Cement on October 11th has said that it will invest more than 3,200 crore rupees to set up 2 greenfield cement manufacturing facilities, having a total manufacturing capacity of 5 million tons per annum in central India. The company will set up an integrated greenfield cement manufacturing facility in Madhya Pradesh as well as a split grinding unit in Uttar Pradesh, with a combined cement capacity across both these units being 5 MTPA. Talking about India Cements, the company on October 10th already announced it has entered into a pact with JSW Cement to divest its entire stake in Springway Mining Private Limited for nearly 477 crore rupees. The government on October 7th kicked off the process for strategic disinvestment of IDBI Bank with the transfer of management control by issuing a preliminary information memorandum to invite expressions of interest from prospective buyers. LIC, the bank's current promoter, holds 49.24% stake, while the government stake in the bank comes to around 45.48%. Public shareholders hold 5.28%, and strategic investors interested in taking over the bank have been given time until October 28 to submit any further queries that they have on the preliminary information memorandum, which was issued on Friday, and also submit the expressions of interest by December 16th this year. Hindustan Unilever, one of the country's largest fast-moving consumer goods players, has cut prices of its leading soaps and detergents this month by 2 to 19% according to the company's distributors. The cuts come after consistent price increases by the company as well as its peers following the sharp rise in the raw material prices over the past 2 years. Godrej Group as well, which owns the soap brand Godrej No. 1, has also lowered soap rates by 13 to 15%. Analysts believe that the price drop will help to drive sales volume in the second half of the current fiscal year, particularly since overall consumption remains slow due to high rising prices. Infosys shares will be one of the stocks in focus as the board of directors of the IT major is going to consider buyback of shares on October 13th. Infosys had informed Indian stock market exchanges in this regard, and the IT major informed that the company board would consider buyback of its shares in its board meeting, which is scheduled on 13th of October 2022. According to Morgan Stanley, Infosys may announce a buyback of shares worth around 8,400 to 11,600 crore rupees during the earnings call. The international brokerage has also said in a note that India's second largest IT services firm can potentially return 25,000 crore rupees to its shareholders in each of the next 2 years. Moving on, let's find out which are those companies that were surrounded by controversies and, more importantly, on the radar this week. The bankruptcy court on October 10th has admitted GVK Power Goindwil Sahib Limited for corporate resolution and insolvency proceedings based on a petition filed by Axis Bank. Now, this is the second company of the GVK Group after GVK Industries to be admitted for insolvency proceedings. GVK Power and Infrastructure Limited has informed the stock exchange that it would challenge the order at the NCLAT. The company currently has a debt of around 3,000 crore rupees. As per sources, the probe by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs on the complaint over corporate governance raised by a former employee of L&T has not found any substance in the allegations. The former employee had raised a complaint and alleged that between November 2003 and March 2008, the company deducted salaries of around 30,000 employees with the assurance of issuing them shares of L&T, but instead, according to the complaint, it issued them redeemable preference shares of L&T Welfare Company, a unit of L&T. According to sources, the probe concluded that the case qualifies for a civil litigation, if any, and didn't merit any motion underneath the Companies Act. Well, that was all from the corporate world. Over to the updates from the startup world this week. Byju's, the world's most valued edtech startup, will be laying off about 2,500 employees across departments to cut costs amid mounting losses. Around 5% of Byju's 50,000 strong workforce is expected to be rationalized across product line, content, media and technology teams in a phased manner, the company has said. The company also added that its India's K10 acquisitions, including Topper, Merit Nation, Tutor Vista Scholar and HashLearn, will be consolidated into a single business unit, whereas Akash and Great Learning will continue to function as a separate organization. Funding in Indian startups declined by a massive 80% in Q3 of 2022 to $3 billion compared to $14.9 billion in the same period in 2021. Data from industry tracker Traction reveals that Q3 2022 funding also declined sequentially by 57% from Q2 of 2022. The report said that the average ticket size also witnessed a drop across all funding stages, with the late stage seeing the biggest fall of over 70% from $142 million in Q3 of 2021 to $42 million in Q3 of 2022. Now, this indicates that investors are not willing to make large investments until economic conditions stabilize. Well, that's all on this week's Companynama. See you again next week with another roundup of all the corporate and startup world updates. And also, Diwali is around the corner, so stay tuned to catch all our Diwali special shows all through next week only on Money9's app. So get going and download Money9 app from your Google Play Store and App Store to catch all the Diwali action. And yes, keep watching Money9.